for several years prior to 2007. 302. India has more than doubled its hourly wage rates during the first decade of the 21st century. 311. Some 431 million Indians have left poverty since 1985. India's middle classes are projected to number around 580 million by 2030. 312. Dow ranking 51st in global competitiveness. As of 2010, India ranks 17th in financial market sophistication, 24th in the banking sector, 44th in business sophistication, and 39th in innovation, ahead of several advanced economies. 313. With 7 of the world's top 15 information technology outsourcing companies based in India, as of 2009, the country is viewed as the second most favorable outsourcing destination after the United States. 314. India was ranked 46th in the Global Innovation Index in 2021. It has increased its ranking considerably since 2015, where it was 81st. 315, 316, 317, 318. India's consumer market, the world's 11th largest, is expected to become 5th largest by 2030. 312. Driven by growth, India's nominal GDP per capita increased steadily from $308 in 1991, when economic liberalization began, to $1,380 in 2010, to an estimated $1,730 in 2016. It is expected to grow to $2,313 by 2022. 21. However, it has remained lower than those of other Asian developing countries such as Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Sri Lanka, and Thailand, and is expected to remain so in the near future. According to a 2011 PricewaterhouseCoopers (PwC) report, India's GDP at purchasing power parity could overtake that of the United States by 2045. 320. During the next 4 decades, Indian GDP is expected to grow at an annualized average of 8%, making it potentially the world's fastest growing major economy until 2050. 320. The report highlights key growth factors: a young and rapidly growing working age population, growth in the manufacturing sector because of rising education and engineering skill levels, and sustained growth of the consumer market driven by a rapidly growing middle class. 320. The World Bank cautions that for India to achieve its economic potential, it must continue to focus on public sector reform, transport infrastructure, agricultural and rural development, removal of labor regulations, education, energy security, and public health and nutrition. 321. According to the Worldwide Cost of Living Report 2017 released by the Economist Intelligence Unit, EIU, which was created by comparing more than 400 individual prices across 160 products and services. 4 of the cheapest cities were in India: Bangalore, 3rd, Mumbai, 5th, Chennai, 5th, and New Delhi, 8th. 322. Industries. A panorama of Bangalore, the center of India's software development economy. In the 1980s, when the first multinational corporations began to set up centers in India, they chose Bangalore because of the large pool of skilled graduates in theory, in turn due to the many science and engineering colleges in the surrounding region. 319. A tea garden in Sikkim. India, the world's second largest producer of tea, is a nation of 1 billion tea drinkers, who consume 70% of India's tea output. India's telecommunication industry is the second largest in the world with over 1.2 billion subscribers. It contributes 6.5% to India's GDP. 323. After the third quarter of 2017, India surpassed the US to become the second largest smartphone market in the world after China. 324. The Indian automotive industry, the world's second fastest growing, increased domestic sales by 26% during 2009-2010, 325, and exports by 36% during 2008-2009. 326. At the end of 2011, the Indian IT industry employed 2.8 million professionals, generated revenues close to $100 billion, equaling 7.5% of Indian GDP, and contributed 26% of India's merchandise exports. 327. The pharmaceutical industry in India emerged as a global player. As of 2021, with 3,000 pharmaceutical companies and 10,500 manufacturing units, India is the world's third largest pharmaceutical producer, largest producer of generic medicines, and supply up to 50-60% of global vaccines demand. These all contribute up to $24 billions in exports, and India's local pharmaceutical market is estimated up to $42 billion. 328. 329. India is among the top 12 biotech destinations in the world. 330. 331. The Indian biotech industry grew by 15.1% in 2012-2013, increasing its revenues from 204.4 billion Indian rupees to 235.24 billion, $3.94 billion at June 2013 exchange rates. 332. Energy. India's capacity to generate electrical power is 300 gigawatts, of which 42 gigawatts is renewable. 333. The country's usage of coal is a major cause of greenhouse gas emissions by India, but its renewable energy is competing strongly. 334. India emits about 7% of global greenhouse gas emissions. This equates to about 2.5 tons of carbon dioxide per person per year, which is half the world average. 335. 336. Increasing access to electricity and clean cooking with liquefied petroleum gas have been priorities for energy in India. 337. Socio-economic challenges. Despite economic growth during recent decades, India continues to face socio-economic challenges. In 2006, India contained the largest number of people living below the World Bank's international poverty line of $1.25 per day. 339. The proportion decreased from 60% in 1981 to 42% in 2005. 340. Under the World Bank's later revised poverty line, it was 21% in 2011. L. 342. 30.7% of India's children under the age. Health workers about to begin another day of immunization against infectious diseases in 2006. 8 years later, and 3 years after India's last case of polio, the World Health Organization declared India to be polio-free. 338. Of 5 are underweight. 343. According to a Food and Agriculture Organization report in 2015, 15% of the population is undernourished. 344. 345. The midday meal scheme attempts to lower these rates. 346. A 2018 Walk Free Foundation report estimated that nearly 8 million people in India were living in different forms of modern slavery, such as bonded labor, child labor, human trafficking, and for sea begging, among others. 347, according to the 2011 census, there are 10.1 million child laborers in the country, a decline of 2.6 million from 12.6 million in 2001. 348, since 1991, economic inequality between India's states has consistently grown. The per capita net state domestic product of the richest states in 2007 was 3.2 times that of the poorest. 349. Corruption in India is perceived to have decreased. According to the Corruption Perceptions Index, India ranked 78th out of 180 countries in 2018 with a score of 41 out of 100, an improvement from 85th in 2014. 350. 351. Demographics, languages, and religion. India by language. The language families of South Asia with 1,210,193,422 residents reported in the 2011 Provisional Census Report. 352. India is the world's second most populous country. Its population grew by 17.64% from 2001 to 2011. 353, compared to 21.54% growth in the previous decade, 1991-2001. 353, the human sex ratio according to the 2011 census, is 940 females per 1,000 males. 352, the median age was 28.7 as of 2020. 286. The first post-colonial census conducted in 1951 counted 361 million people. 354. Medical advances made in the last 50 years as well as increased agricultural productivity brought about by the Green Revolution have caused India's population to grow rapidly. 355. The average life expectancy in India is at 70 years, 71.5 years for women, 68.7 years for men. 286. There are around 93 physicians per 100,000 people. 356. Migration from rural to urban areas has been an important dynamic in India's recent history. The number of people living in urban areas grew by 31.2% between 1991 and 2001. 357. Yet, in 2001, over 70% still lived in rural areas. 358. 359. The level of urbanization increased further from 27.81% in...
Yes, break. So let's start to upload this. It's 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Just eat a little bit candy called Gayo. So the video splits in 5 minutes. Write all this information down there. So just fly back to Dubai. Then find a flight to Asia, but now it's late again. It will be maybe we have to wait till tomorrow because it's always so late. I cannot take this long flight, 10 hours, 9 a.m. in the evening. Then I should do it 11 p.m. or around midnight, then I can sleep the whole night. But I look what I do when we get to Dubai. I think I like to take a break and upload this. That's 5 videos.